If you don't get there in time, we will lose 1,600 men. Your brother among them. Good luck.
"1917", directed by Sam Mendes and starring Dean Charles Chapman and George Mackay. Honestly, the greatest war movie I've ever seen. Right, that's my review. Thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe. See ya! Okay, I should probably go into this a little bit more. This movie absolutely blew me away. I have waited so long for a World War I movie like this, and Mendes and his team absolutely knocked it out of the park. It tells the story of Lance Corporals Blake and Schofield, who are given a mission by their superior officers to cross into former enemy territory to deliver a message to call off an attack happening the next morning, which could result in the massacre of 1,600 men, including Blake's older brother. In case you weren't aware, from a technical standpoint, the entire film is portrayed as a single shot, and whilst you can tell for the most part where the cuts were cleverly disguised, like for instance the camera might go behind a tree, or it might go into a place with a lot of shadow and then suddenly it comes out on the other end, and it is simply astonishing how they managed to achieve this look. They had cameras that were handheld, they would go up on wires, it would then be switched to a guy riding the back of a motorcycle. It absolutely blew my mind. And it isn't a gimmick by any means. It immerses the audience perfectly in this setting. You feel the tension throughout the whole movie. You just feel like you're constantly in danger and you really, really want these guys to come out of it okay. Even though there are scenes where there aren't any enemies yet, you're still looking around for them. Like you feel like an attack could come at any moment. And that's why I think Sam Mendes absolutely, he knocked it out of the park with this. He knew the kind of film he had to make for this setting, and it was just incredible. Literally everything about this movie is perfect. Mendes directs his arse off. Roger Deakins' cinematography is absolutely astounding, and the performances from the entire cast is stellar. Like, even when there are scenes when there are literally dozens and dozens of extras being soldiers just sitting in the trench, or there's a bit where they're sitting in a clearing in a forest, and there are so many of them, and in these really long shots that go on for about 10 minutes, all it takes is for one of them, to mess it up, and then they got to redo the entire shot. And it just shows the amount of dedication that everybody had towards this project. The film is constantly moving through different locations. The sets are absolutely incredible and they feel so realistic. And like most of my favourite war movies, they utilise practical effects and barely resort to CGI. Most notably, that astounding shot where Schofield charges across the battlefield, which you probably would have seen in the trailer, but in the movie, oh my god, it is amazing. As you probably would have anticipated, the film is an emotional rollercoaster, and it is, for me, the perfect film to portray this period in history, as the First World War still holds a special place in the hearts of us Brits to this day. And while it doesn't have the crash-bang-wallop approach of Saving Private Ryan in terms of the action, for me, I prefer war movies that have a much more subtle approach to that side of it, and it focuses much more on the human aspects. Because you see in this movie that all of these soldiers, they are literally kids. It's really hard to explain. It's not like in World War II, where obviously everybody who fought was very brave. They were doing it to defend their country. In terms of World War I, it was literally kids who were sent off into the unknown to basically die for a cause that nobody really knew why we were fighting. And you see throughout the movie that they are just kids who want to go home. And honestly, for me, it feels superfluous to even attempt another movie like this. It's just the quintessential First World War movie, and literally I feel has to be seen by everyone to get even the faintest idea of what those boys went through, because I'm getting to an age where, like, I'm 28 years old, and I know that were I born 100 years earlier, I would have probably been sent over. So for me, it feels important to just get a vague idea of what they went through in order to protect their country. Boys way younger than me. I think I heard a story about a kid who fought in the Somme, which was one of the bloodiest battles, and he was either 11 or 12 years old. I mean, God knows how he managed to get through the application process, unless they literally felt they needed every able-bodied lad. I mean, to be fair, the second that the officials found out, he was sent home immediately. But it's just, when you see footage of the First World War, it feels a million miles away. It's in black and white, it's super grainy, and it's done at the wrong frame rate. So it's not something we can relate to as much. And 1917 goes a long way to humanise these people. Also, on that subject, quick shout out to Peter Jackson's documentary They Shall Not Grow Old, where they colorised and fixed original footage. And as well as 1917, I definitely recommend giving that one a watch as well. But anyway, back to 1917. In terms of the Oscars, while I have a lot of love for the Joker movie, and clearly that and 1917 are the two front runners, I do believe Joaquin Phoenix should win Best Actor. But for me, the two movies, there is absolutely no competition between the two. 1917 is just in a different league entirely. Absolutely 10 out of 10 across the board, and overtakes Dunkirk as my all-time favourite war movie. And the last thing for me to do is to thank my top tier sponsors on Patreon: Garsupial, Test Subject 410, Winter Phoenix, Desmond Fallout, Joseph Rispoli, Nidofer, Flareon Fordome, Dragtail, Plushy Afton, Hooded Wanderer, and Kada. Thank you all so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!